I don't know why it's very bad. I cannot see anything. So I will do this as an audio. All right. So basically, what is a project team? What did you write here? Yeah. So okay, read what we have here. Can you switch on one light or maybe both? If you don't go to sleep, switch it off. The other one too. Can we read better? Okay. So
you just killed the light on me, okay. Now that's hard.
So we have made up of individuals from various areas and departments within a company, but also we are dealing with experts from outside of the company. All of them are working on a specific project, okay? And on a specific project, it needs to be that has a due date. So that was like basically the difference of like the ongoing project within a company as a project management, right? It's a specific project, it has got a beginning, a middle, an end. That's the cycle of the project, and we have people from the company, but we have also experts and other people who are part of our project. Okay? Yeah. Very good. And the project team, yes, the project team, the core, many of them are people of our company. But we have the project manager who is part of the project team as well. And we have the project sponsor that can be part of the team. And is the one who's like putting like the budget and the money, for instance. Okay? Okay, what is a matrix organization?
A team structure with members from functional areas depending on skills and quality.
Team. What could you say about the matrix organization? Anybody has anything? It's like related to the discussion that we went through. Yes, but it's very general. Anything else that you want to add? That you would like to add with this? Yes, no, but maybe. So we have like the complex matrix and the more simple ones, right? So this is related to the nine knowledge areas that we used to have. Do you remember? There was like ones that were like related to the core, like the iron structures, like basically the department that is related to budgeting, the cost, or the time, or human resources, and it's like all of them that have to be interacting with each other. That will be part as well of the matrix organization. Part of the matrix organization is going to be using as well those networks that we are going to talk about. Okay, PERT or AON network, all right. And you were talking about this in your own discussion about complex. Anybody can let me know like one advantage of having a complex matrix.
Have more skilled people and more like in a job that's gonna that they'll excel at better. More detailed assignments.
And more information that is like flowing as well for all. And what could be a disadvantage? but it could be a disadvantage.
Potentially time.
Yeah, time, okay? Or sometimes it's like too many voices, and it's hard to know how to complete assignments, or a lot of people talking, or like, that could be like one of the disadvantages, but usually they have advantages, okay? So efficient exchange of information. One of the disadvantages that I see here is like the internal complexity, and some workers may be confused to know who is their direct supervisor. Who do I have to actually report to? Okay, that could be one disadvantage. But definitely, if the project manager has got a clarity of goals and then shows all the time the critical path, and everybody is on top and they know what is like the main goals of the company, but as well their own department goals, and they need to fulfill certain milestones, okay? That's going to be good. And then the project manager needs to follow up, or the functional manager as well, all right? So strong matrices are super good, okay? But they can complicate things, and it takes more time. And some companies, they want to do that yesterday. And how like, that's the thing, okay? But definitely having a clarity of goals and showing the critical path, creating strong networks, AON network, okay? And then everybody getting to know what is their milestones that company as a whole, the project team as a whole needs to accomplish. And then from there, from the work breakdown structure, they know what I have to do to fulfill that. And if I don't do that, it's affecting the following step. So it's important, this step of planning, of scheduling, the time, the sequences, what needs to be done for breakdown structure, okay? And the sequences when to do that, okay? It's important to communicate that with everybody, even like the lower employees. They should know at least the basics of the critical path, the basics, not specifics of what all the department is doing, but the basics. Okay, that's good. Okay, very good. What does RAM stand for? Yes, please read it.
Shows who is responsible for work in the project.
Yeah, RM basically is like a matrix that shows the people who are in charge, who is responsible. Okay, so it's like, it stands for responsibility assignment matrix versus OBS, that could be organizational breakdown structure. Okay, so responsibility assignment matters. So who is responsible for work in a project? Okay, who is in charge? And the OBS that stands for organizational breakdown structure. You find this on page 53. Okay, but the one that we usually work is on the tasks, okay? So that would be work breakdown structure, all right? So breaks down a project into components, subcomponents, activities, and tasks. Very good, nice. Network diagram. Basically, that's kind of hard. So that's why you didn't write it down. It was not your part of your assignment, but network diagram, at this point, what we are using that is for sequencing. Sequencing the events or sequencing the activities that we need to do. So we are dealing basically with the timing as well. Okay?
Okay.
What does the critical path show? Anybody had this one?
Critical path?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I have.
Yes, you had it.
You sure about that?
Yes, I
No,
am
know.
sure. You didn't finish it, but
Yeah. You wanna know what the CPM is?
no,
The
I'm talking about
CPM
critical
stands for
path.
Critical path method, which is, let's see what I got here, discovered by, which was discovered by DuPont and Remington in 1957.
I'm talking about the critical path.
Yeah, that's the critical path method. What does it stand for? What, yeah. And what is a critical path? Is it activity oriented?
That's CPM, critical path method. But the critical path itself, okay, is going to show us the time. The time is like, what is like the maximum time that a project needs to be
But I didn't have
completed.
that question.
You had the critical path, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Okay, I'm giving you the answer.
Okay.
Let's find solutions here. Critical path is going to show us the maximum time in which a project is finished. Okay, let me see if I have the picture here. Perfect. Longest path throughout the network and the minimum project completion time. Okay?
Sequential path, right?
Yeah. Yeah, very good.
1 to 3 months, 2 to 3 months.
Critical path activity starts time. Okay, for instance, activity number 1, if we think about the house, okay, the design of the house and finding the budget in, that takes 3 months. So from January to March. All right. And then the second one is the layout. The layout. So the layout, actually, that would be step number 2. That starts on March and it takes 2 months. Okay, but it starts on March and it's finished April, Mayo, May. Okay, very good. And the one that it only takes 1 month, that was like to get the materials, right? But it starts on March and finishes on April. Takes 1 month. Okay, and then from there, both of them get together. You guys the materials and you have the layout, and then they merge. Those activities are merging, okay, into, let's say, point 4. Activity point 4, and activity point 4 starts on June. Yeah. So, marzo, enero, febrero, marzo, junio, julio, in July. Starts in July, okay? And it takes 3 months. Right. July. And then in October, after those 3 months, okay, we have like the finishing of the house. Finishing of the house. That would be kind of julio, agosto, septiembre, octubre. So it would be finished in November, hopefully. So it takes like those 9 months. That would be the whole thing. Yeah, end of September. Let's say end of September, okay, 9 months, if everything goes well. Very good. Nice. AON, that's, who had got these other questions?
I got the AON.
Yes, so, you got it?
Yeah,
Did you
I
send it?
answered, but I also sent it in email.
Okay, perfect. So let me go. I don't see it yet. It's taking a while.
I got the answer
Okay,
written down,
Give the answers. Very good. So what does AON network stand for?
Activity on node.
And a node. Okay. So continue reading, please. Precedence.
Diagram is also known as the network diagram.
AON network diagram. Yeah?
Okay, sure, yeah.
Yes.
What do represent activities on AON? I got activity plus duration. Activity number, as well as the duration. 4,
So that would be basically the nodes.
right,
The nodes represent the activities.
okay,
Yes? Usually it's like nowadays that you have two ways of doing it, okay? Like the bubble but through the computer they prefer doing like this, like kind of like on a rectangular mode.
yeah.
That would be the node. The node, that's what represents, okay, the activity. So what do arrows show in AON? What do they show?
The arrows,
Hmm?
I just put a order of operation or what's next.
What's next and what's before? So basically they represent the relationship between activities, okay? Because you have different type of activities, right? So you have activities that are parallel activities or merge activities. So if you have a merge activity, okay, that means, let me see if I have the one of the house. A merge activity that would be building the house, structuring building the house, that's merging with the activity of layout of the house and already with the materials. The materials have been ordered and being received, and that could be a merge activity. So it's the relationship, okay? Which activities can be done at the same time in AON?
Parallel,
Parallel. Okay, very good, nice. So what does AON network stand for?
Oh, I'm sorry.
What does AON stands for?
AOA,
Activities on arrow.
Very good. So arrow diagram is also known as
Activities.
AON is also known as arrow diagram. Arrow diagram, arrow diagram is also known as AON network.
Oh, okay.
And AOA network, okay? And AOA stands on arrow activity on an arrow. That's it. Activity on an arrow network, okay? So on arrow, activity on arrow. That's what AOA stands for. Okay, because now it's not the nodes are not representing the activities, but the arrows. What does the direction of the arrow indicate? Sequence of events. Next question, please.
What are nodes in AOA events or points in time?
What does represent the number over the line segment? That's the next question, right?
What is the direction of the arrow indicate sequence of events?
The events, very good. And then what does represent the number over the line?
The duration of the activity.
Okay,
Following events, chemical.
okay, very good. All right, so who's got the next one? You. Uh-huh.
You want me to go through it real quick?
Yes, please.
Okay, you want to read what you had or read what I have?
What you have. It's is that, wait a minute. So I know I got it. Is this yours? No. This one?
Yeah.
Very good. You tell us.
Okay,
Type of events, very good.
name three major types of networks. Types of events. What is a tail event? Marks the beginning of an activity. What is a head event? Marks the completion of an activity. What is done? Kind of like an activity, but it does not consume any resources.
Okay, so the dummy, this is important. The dummy event only exists on AOA, okay? Activity on Arrow network, okay? Because activity on Arrow networks, they are like, AOA, okay, I lost what I was gonna say. Anyways, they do not exist on the other one that is like related as well with the timing, especially with AON. Okay, do a role event. What is that?
X tail event for one activity and head event for another activity.
So it cannot be either at the beginning of the project or at the end of the project. Doesn't work like that, okay? Yeah. Okay, burst and merge event. Okay, what's that?
So kind of split them up.
Very good.
Activity is an activity that is a predecessor to more than one activity.
Okay,
Kind of,
nice.
merge activities are the opposite of first.
A event,
Yes.
a burst event.
So merge event. Okay.
A burst event is an event okay, and merge event, what is a merge event? Event, successor. So in the example of the house, that's kind of hard because example of the house, we have it as an activity. The activity could be now let's see if we have that on the activities, for instance. Let me see. Activities consume time, okay? And so a burst activity, that would be the very, very beginning, okay? The planning of the house, the funding, finding budgeting and finding money of the house. That's the very beginning. And of course, it's a burst activity because it's going to create, like, in that case, activity number 2 and activity number 3. Basically, starting the layout of the house and the planning of the materials and receiving the materials and all of that. That would be burst activity, okay? And then the merge could be, for instance, once we are starting building the house itself. It's a burst activity because it requires having already the layout of the house, and already we have received the materials. You have the layout, but you don't have materials, you cannot start in building the house. Okay? Let me see if I can find that picture, because I think that we can see that very well. Where is it? Here. Okay. So on this example, guys, activity number 4, that would be a merge activity. Okay, yeah, that would be a merge activity. You see, because you have the foundation laid out already, and you have already received the materials. And both of those, boom, they come, and then you can start actually with activity number 4, which is building the house. Okay. So 3 major type of networks. What is then? Who has got the next question? You? No?
I did the whole thing.
I've got, what does a CPM start from? That's where I'm at.
What is that? Okay.
That's,
That's all me. Don't need to do all that.
Tell us.
you do that too?
Yeah, you told me to do it.
CPM.
Okay. The CPM is, the CPM stands for the critical path method, and it was discovered by DuPont and Remington something company in 1957.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what does PERT stand for? PERT stands for a program evaluation and review technique, which is a management tool used for planning, controlling, and reviewing a project.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is method is activity orientated. CPM is activity oriented. What is a technique? Method is event orientated, and that would be a PERT method is an event orientated method. What are the 6 main differences between CPM and PERT? The difference between CPM and PERT are CPM is activity oriented, PERT is event oriented. In a CPM, time estimates are a fair degree accurate, and in a PERT, the time estimates are not that accurate.
Where are not that accurate at PERT?
PERT is not that accurate.
Because they are like kind of celebrating the milestones, the events, and the events do not consume time. This needs to be done, and this is like, all right.
Okay.
So time is not so accurate, although the governing factor is time. In more than time, I could say like specific times, like a point in time. Okay, not the how long or how much time does it consume in comparison with CPM. Okay.
And the CPM is a deterministic approach, and PERT is a probabilistic approach. Again, we go back to our CPM, the project duration is fixed and the cost is minimum. And on the PERT, the cost is directly proportional to time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then the difference between CPM and a PERT is the cost is a governing factor, and a PERT, time is a governing factor. Again, CPM, the critical path which joins critical activities. And then the PERT is, critical path, is a path which joins the critical events.
Yeah, because it's like on the event, so that's the difference, okay? Because event is a point in time, it does not consume energy or time. And then the CPM is like more directly on how long, how much time is going to be necessary to complete this activity. So everything is like with that, and then they can evaluate like the cost. Because time, okay,
Equals money.
equals money for them. And on the other one, the important thing is that these milestones are completed.
Yeah.
This needs to be done, and those are the milestones. And then let's say that would be the events. So the how long it's gonna take, it's more probabilistic. Okay, the important thing is like let's say PERT oriented would be with events that are high-end projects. Okay, they are think about like first class things that time is not that important, but the quality, how it's going to be done, the event, all the endings, that's the important thing. And okay, and that's why it's event oriented on the results. That's the important thing, those milestones, those events, those results.
Okay.
So yeah, when we say time is governing factor, when we talk about time, it's like that specific points in time, those specific events. Okay?
Yeah.
Don't get confused with that, because there is like, hey, wait a minute, time is proportional. What doesn't mean? No, specific points in time, events.
Yeah, milestones.
Okay, yeah, number 4 is specific points in time. We are not talking about the duration. On the other one, it's critical. Time is money. It's doing the house. We need to do that, and it's based on the activities. How long it's going to, we need to complete this.
Yeah,
Okay.
because our costs are tied to our time, and our time is tied to our costs.
Correct. So if we use PERT, it's event oriented. We are talking about that type of projects, high-end
Yeah.
projects,
Where you got plenty of
fashion,
money, where you got plenty of money, you just want the project done right and according to your.
or
specs.
your clients that
Yeah,
is in certain fields like fashion, or like on fashion in Paris, for instance. We need to have this high couture, for instance.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
And then the other one would be like the perfect example of our project District 4, where we are going to use AON. Okay, so CPM, that's what we talked about, and that's why it's so important to get to know what is our critical path, what is like the minimum, what is the longest time, the path, and then what is like the shortest as well,
Okay.
path.
Now, the Gantt chart is a graph or bar chart with the bars on each project activity that shows the passage of time.
Let me see, we have a,
Yeah.
oh my God, it's
Provides a visual display or project schedule. And the slack, also shows the slack, the amount of time and activity can be delayed without delaying the project.
correct. So on the Gantt, usually we cannot do that without knowing already what is our work breakdown structure, or what is the AOM that we will use. Once we have that information, then we can create the Gantt chart, because it's very visual. Okay? So, hey guys, thank you so much.
Oh, you worked this tonight, young
See,
lady.
I worked you out. Yes, but the day I'm not here is going to be much shorter. Okay, it will be like maybe 45 minutes. That's what I'm planning, up to 1 hour
For the test.
for the test. That's
Then,
gonna be
that's
more
what
than
you're
enough,
gonna do.
and that's it. That day is going to be only the test, and that's it, nothing else. And we have off as well Thanksgiving,
Thanksgiving.
okay?
Thanksgiving.
So you have like the 2 easy days. Something that was interesting from you, that you learned today.
Oh, well, I learned the difference between a PERT and And the
CPM approach.
and CPM, the CPM is kind of like, activity, based, and the PERT is more,
Event.
event.
So that's why we use AOA, activity on a narrow network on PERT. And the CPM is like the one that for construction, moving, okay, that's the one that is more used for, because we use activity on a net, okay, on nodes actually. Very good. Something that you learned today.
The different type of networks that, you can use AOA and AON, and depending on, the event, you're gonna determine which one you use.
Okay, it depends a lot about the field, guys. Okay, so that's why certain fields, certain projects are more oriented on cost and money and sequences. That's most important, construction. And other ones is the high end and the events, the milestones that they reach independently. How long does it take? Please, one thing you want to say? Anybody want to share something? You're good, have the right to pass, but you don't have the right to pass today. Oh, something you want to mention about today in general terms, about the class or in the stage apart is long, I agree.
We talked about the dual role, dual role, for the dual role event.
Dual event?
Dual role event.
Yes, dual role event.
Some
types of events, okay.
Yeah, like the accident tail event, the one I could do for accident event,
The beginning and then the end, like the predecessor, you need other events to have that event, you need previous events. And then after that event, another event. Now, that's the dual role of the event, okay, sometimes. So module 3, I hope that doing that, I will complete the last questions for you. You have them here, but I'm going to do that for you guys, okay? Answer them, and then on this email number 16, we will have basically all of our answers but one, the one of filling the gaps. So next week, we'll work with for next week, everybody needs to have done the document of stakeholder document finished, okay? And we're going to finish module 3. So in class, we will do the AON network of District 4, and we will start working as well on the Gantt chart. So you get ready for module 3, and then we finish module 3. Sounds good? Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for your patience. All of you got like extra points today.
Awesome.
Plus 20. I'm gonna write it down before.
No, right.
Okay?
It was a productive day, huh?
Plus, I'm going to write it down. Plus
Okay.
9 plus 20.
9 plus 20, oh, that sounds.
Plus
very good.
9 plus 20 points,
I'll
guys.
take off next week.
Okay.
Thank you so much.